Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good vibes, good energy, good people. It's your boy Mickey Fenty, aka Mickey Made It. If you're new to this channel, you know what to do to this channel. Subscribe right now. Also, if you want to support the brand, it's inspiredbydreams.shop. And that's the place you can go to get your drip on and dress outside of the box and support a new, fashion designer. Okay, what's going on, y'all? It's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. We're all here, and the weather's looking nice. The sun is out, and we're just gonna be. I have a. This is a great. I have some great topics for us today, as well as I dropped a new video for you guys. I need you guys to go check it out, share it up, like it up, and it's just the diversity between it's Mexicans versus Central Americans. And I have also another surprise dropping tonight at 10 o'clock. So you guys got to stay tuned. Got a lot of things going on. Got a lot of things going on. But okay. How should we start today's episode off? It's Friday. Let's today. I want to do something different. Every Friday, what I was thinking about doing for everybody is I want to highlight like the interview of the week. That interview that just you kept going back to or had enough information in it that just made you open your mind to something or just think about it like, wow. Just something that, something that I felt like, and to be honest with you, it was two. It's a run up in this thing. So we might just talk about two interviews of the week starting it off. Now, the first interview of the week, shouts out to Panda Chop News, and he was interviewing MC Shan, legendary MC Shan, excuse me, on Diddy, and just explaining, his take on his situation and his, because he met Diddy before, and he was just giving his whole outlook on it. Now, what I want to take from this interview that was very crazy. Number one, I gotta commend MC Shan for being the king he is, because it's not easy opening up about your past, especially in these times of social media where some people could just take it and try to run with it and try to make it a meme. But MC Shan, he got to the point he was saying that Diddy at one point saved his life because he had got into a car accident, and Diddy had seen him hurt in the car and jumped out of the cab to save him and help him out. And he said, within that, with all that going on, Panda Chop then asked him, so you're just saying, that's your encounter with him. You never, and he stopped him right there. He was just like, no, it's not that I don't think he's a monster for the things that he was doing in the past. It's just that that was his encounter with him. But he said, as far as what he heard with Diddy, him as a youth himself had he's also a victim of sexual abuse. And these types of situations, it takes a certain type of king, a certain type of strength to explain, your circumstances when it comes down to social media. So I really commended him. He dealt with sexual abuse from another man. He said it's not like the guy slept with him, but he could have fondled him. Anything, you never know the environment you're in as a kid, what's going to be surrounding you and what you have to deal with. So after he starts explaining that, he then explains that, all the things that Diddy did, and to people don't understand the power that he put upon people. When people say, why it took so long for people to come out, or why is it all the way up to this point, when we're hearing these stories about how Diddy's a monster behind the scenes and he's doing things like blowing up Kid Cudi's car allegedly, and just you could just imagine the kind of talk that he was talking to each individual that was amongst him. You could tell that he was just saying, splurting the most. So when I hear things like, him being involved or saying things like he doesn't like Tupac, these things in the back of the, like, when Chopper said, he encountered Diddy and Diddy hates Pac. We didn't know it, but behind the scenes, he was doing a lot of this to a lot of people, and people picked up on these different things about him that changed his character in their eyes. Even though in the public, his character stood the same at that point because we didn't know, behind the scenes, people really understood who he was. So when he started talking about that, good morning, good morning, good morning. Blessings, blessings, blessings. I'm just talking about the interview of the week. I have to say it goes to Panda Chop News if you haven't checked it out. He did a interview with the legendary MC Shan talking on Diddy, and he was just saying, and Shan had a point too, because Shan also started getting into, that type of power that he started showing other people. When everybody sees that, they're going to be scared to go to authorities. And there was even victims that Diddy had, like he had messed with, like I believe it was Ashley, where she went to the police, filed a report. But Diddy, if you don't notice from his Hampton videos, when he said he went out to Long Island, he got to know everybody in the Hamptons. So he likes to introduce himself. So when he gets introduced to authority and things like that, you never know if he could pay him off or invite the sheriff or whoever he got going on in that area, and they can take a blind eye to the victims when things like this happen. Money controls a lot of people and the way they think, and it stops a lot of things, when things, it makes people overlook a lot of things. So we have to keep that in mind when it comes down to these victims. So when I seen that, I started analyzing it like, wait, hold on. So yeah, Shan has a point, because all of those people that we seen, they were scared of him. People might not say, "Oh, Diddy's not. He's not. Might not be a street gangster," but when it comes down to business and hip hop, Diddy was one of the biggest business gangsters there ever was. Threatening people, actually putting these things out on people, and people getting hurt. A lot of deaths came, within the Bad Boy record label, and a lot of them, they was just weird. Some of them were due to health issues. I believe Black Rob was probably due more to his health issues, but then you had a lot of other things going around like Kim Porter and things that people have questions about. So I really commend MC Shan for really taking the time out and just giving his side of the story and letting people know, just because somebody doesn't come out and say it, you never know who's a victim or who was a victim of it, because in the past, of their environment. People don't just, everything is not in life is not just how people paint it to be. Some people are going through these things. They've been victimized as a youth, and they have a different kind of understanding on how the abuser works. Like when he was explaining, Diddy, just if Diddy comes into somebody's family and they're not coming from any money, or they're not coming from any morals or things like that, they can be easily victimized, as well as whoever their daughter or son, whoever Diddy feels like because when money comes into play, they're gonna start taking a blind eye to what's going on. And yeah, it leaves it down to the victim and the person that's victimizing them. So the victim and the monster. So that's I really commend MC Shan. Salute to MC Shan for even speaking up on his personal, as well as letting people know his take on his encounters with Diddy. And just staying on Diddy real quick before we get off this topic. Now, Diddy, he filed a 50 million defamation suit against his accuser, and he's fighting back with these allegations. So you gotta have some expectation, knowing that Diddy he's gonna fight back. The man this is dealing with his life, so that is more than expected. I can't believe we're up to this point where we're seeing this all go down in real time, but that's where we at with it. And other details of Diddy in his prison, we're hearing now the conditions. He's in there complaining, and he's struggling about we heard before about the prison food, but now he's dealing with the harsh conditions, including the thin mattress, no pillow, and it says an 8 by 10. So really, if you don't, just to give a little better understanding of that, is he came, being where he came from, as far as all the money and the way his lifestyle he was living, he can't, when putting him back in these positions, or just putting him back in something smaller where the conditions are really harsh, it makes it that much harder for somebody that's been all the way up here to come back down at the lowest point and try to deal with these conditions. So that is definitely starting to play an effect on him, his life, and his mental. Like I told you, prison, jail, all of that stuff, it can break you down. If you don't have a strong mind, or if you are a person that's on heavy drugs and you can't get your mind together, and you end up getting put in prison now, it's going to be that much harder for you to try to get your mind together to see what you got to do to get yourself out. So right now, the conditions in the prison, I mean, excuse me, not the prison, the conditions in the jail, is Diddy is not fitting them, and he's having some complaints. And it's crazy, but I never heard somebody say, I've seen on YouTube, I believe it was it's definitely foreign countries where the prisons had just better, just like better food, and just it's no possibilities of the prisoners having to worry that much as you would have a jail out here in New York, like Rikers Island or something like that, where it's a possibility you can get killed or you can get seriously hurt in the prison or the jail. So that's kind of what he's dealing with up to this point. It's kind of crazy, man, when you really think about this whole thing, how he took his it's way beyond the music when I think about it. The music is just something that I feel like that's just like a part of the recipe of what he wanted to do with his life. He's this overpowered thing. I think it came from a youth not having that sense of like equal with your peers, or that sense of having like where you at, people you're being looked up to, and when you have to go through it in a certain way, and all of a sudden you win, or you start winning, and you get a abundance of money, and you want to be that person that you thought you was before. That power, the more your money goes up, and the more you start telling people what to do, and you start getting this position of power, yeah, of course you're not going to know how to be disciplined with it, and it could lead into heavy drugs. It could lead into sexual crimes. And look, as we look at Diddy, both of those came into play with his life, and that's kind of nuts. It's nuts. It's nuts. It's nuts. It's nuts. Pause. But yeah. So that's basically. I believe there was something else his lawyer. If I do remember what else his lawyer was going on. But let's keep it in court though. Something that's is going around that I just felt like I think there've been it's a couple mistakes made here, and I'm talking about the ASAP Rocky and his whole ASAP Rocky's in court over his whole case is about him allegedly shooting his friend, and now they're saying that it's not a real gun, and he had my whole thing is I think he made a little mistake on when they offered him the 180, I believe it was something like 180 6 months. He was offered about 6 months. They offered ASAP Rocky, and he totally crossed that out, and he didn't want to go with it, but he's facing up to 24 years. Now I don't know if people are seeing understanding how serious this is. When they offer you something like 6 months, that is kind of like a get out of jail card, because if they have any proof that you actually assaulted or shot somebody, it's going to be that much harder for them to even go under that. So anything that's coming next, unless you beat the case, it's going to be way more than the 6 months that they have for you. I don't understand maybe his legal team have something that we don't know, because they are saying that it was a prop gun. So maybe they have a way of fighting this. But I just feel like they kind of made a mistake with that one. 6 months, he would have been out in no time, back to do what you got to do. Shouts out to Rihanna. She's a Fenty love. I got a surprise for y'all tonight about that. But yeah, man, I feel like his legal team was kind of like, I don't know what they're doing, because in these times I've never seen somebody like it. Well, unless he's going up against. So I guess if he loses at this point, you could just expect ASAP to be doing a way more time than the 6 months that was offered. But I don't know. I don't know. You guys got to let me know. I just feel like something went wrong as far as his legal team, and just not agreeing with that. I don't know. And they're saying they have problems with the jury. Now, when it comes down to the jury, I don't know if a person's color is going to play too much into it, but it is fair when you have a balance within people's cultures, and a balance of culture in there, I should say. And it kind of gives people a better standing on if some people might know him, heard of him, and it takes away, it kind of, I guess that in the judicial system, that makes it look like it's even. But to be honest with you, when you just really place the whole case out, the only proof that they're going to have to be proven is that the gun that he had was fake. And if they can prove that, then he might have something. Anything else, if they can't prove that gun was fake, I think that it's not gonna look good for ASAP Rocky. And he's a cool dude, man. It's just sometimes you got to go about your situations a little more, a little different than that. I could see, when ASAP and Rihanna first got together, it seems like he took like the role of just playing. getting out of the group type of situation and playing in the family role. So he kind of like steered towards that. And I don't know how the situation started with him, allegedly getting into whatever with this guy, but it was somebody from his own team or somebody, his crew. So it's the people you have around you. You have to know that you have to trust them, especially when you're around people that you love, and then you bring in your team in or people that you feel that you're working with. You got to be very careful. I don't know what it could be about. If somebody might have been trying to flirt with somebody, mess with somebody, said something disrespectful. It could be anything that turns into you fighting your man. It's kind of crazy. I hope he really beats this, and I hope ASAP Rocky, because it seems like he don't seem like the type of person where, like, if he's not like, if somebody don't mess with him, like, he's just gonna go out there and hurt somebody. So hopefully he, I'm hoping the best for ASAP, and hopefully he try to beat this case. But I just definitely think that his legal team might have had a little problems in that, because 6 months you'll be out in no time. Rihanna do an album. By the time you come out, you might could catch in the middle of a tour. So I don't know, man. Um, Grand Rising, you already know. Blessings, blessings, all my peeps, my peeps, my peeps. Another thing that came across, you guys, I'm like, what is going on? Boosie is begging Donald Trump to pardon him because he's seeking like a presidential pardon because of he's saying the case was unfair because he was charged with something in the past. They dropped the charges, and now the charges are brought back up. And when it comes down to Boosie, I like Boosie. To me, he's like one of the top hip hop legends that still keeps that DNA of hip hop within his music, and he still keeps that soul that we always like in his music. When it comes to like a lot of his cases that he's dealing with, it has to do with a lot of weapon possession, a lot of people that's around him that might not be necessarily the type of person that you want on your side if things go down, because nobody's gonna, in these times, nobody's gonna hold it down for you as far as like, do the time for you. You do the crime, you do the time. But when you see like him asking Donald Trump, I don't know. I know the presidents do, like, what is this? Like, what's going on? People are asking the president to get out of prison in these cases. It's crazy right now in America. I don't know where people's minds are at, but like, try not to get yourself into crime so you don't have to deal with all of this. That's like the first thing that you should be thinking. I don't know if Donald Trump is going to pardon Boosie, but if he does, who knows? Who knows? That's a weird one. I just seen him, and it's like, because we've seen him with like Chef G and things like that, but I really think that what the world is going through right now and especially our culture too, it's very confusing to a lot of people. A lot of people had their expectations up for things to happen in a certain way, and then we see things happen in another way. As far as Donald Trump right now, they're working on the migrants, getting people out of here. And I've seen a lot of debates on that whole Donald Trump getting people out, the migrants out of here. And I feel bad for the ones that they're pushing out that just came here just to make a better life for them and their family. But I don't feel bad for the ones that came here and just made crime of the place, and just because certain things weren't going their way, they was just robbing folks in the streets. Things like that in America is gonna get you the boot. They're gonna boot you out. And I feel like there should have been way strict on the people coming into, and just a bet, because we're seeing a lot of, I've heard I have on the, if you check out the episode that I had put out, it's on the Mexicans and versus Central Americans, and this guy, he was explaining that, like, the way, I'm trying to remember exactly how he said it, like, it's kind of like, in Mexico, the middle class and the people that's doing good for themselves, they don't want to fly to America because they're doing good for themselves. And the people that were really trying to like leave the place and go with a lot of criminals and things like that. Now, that's not I can't point a whole group of people and say they're criminals. That ain't my style to do. But I did see a lot of people that were down with gangs and they were getting rearrested and things like that. And it's sad, man. I even seen one dude, he was from Haiti, and he was like, "Oh, y'all not gonna send me back to Haiti." But the thing is, what he didn't understand, as sad as it may sound, because I have a lot of Haitian friends, he committed he was charged with 17 times, you know. So the ones that came out here and just made a criminal lifestyle out of it, it's definitely going to be, you know, that's definitely going to be a relief for the people that didn't expect these type of people to just come and just, you know, abuse the place. Because I'm going to tell you the truth, especially here in New York, like I just seen on the news, they caught the female that stabbed the guy in the store. If you guys heard about that story, there's a female, they were arguing, I guess, and the guy he worked for the post office, and you know, they was arguing and she ended up stabbing him. These little things like that, you can't, I couldn't tell you if before that incident if she was just a murderer, you know what I mean? But I could say that she did have mental issues that weren't dealt with. So when she went in there and for argument's sake, they arguing back and forth. Arguing ain't the best thing, because at the end of the day, there's no solution, and what are you going to do after it but fight? You know what I mean? So that's, now she threw her life away, and he's passed away. So it's like a lose-lose situation. So, you know, that right there just goes to show you the mental health. It's not just on mental health plays a part in it, but it's also has a lot to do with environment, even down to the foods you eat, and the stress that you take in, the things you care about, the people that's around you are the sometimes even the selfishness within you starts thinking about the lifestyle you feel like you deserve, and that's when some people out there go out there and hurt other people for things. But when you get into taking money, stolen money, and all things like that, that's when the karma starts playing a part in everything that you do. You might not know when it's coming up, but it's coming. You know, it's coming, man. It's crazy. And for real, for real. Where y'all tuning in from? Leave wherever y'all tuning in from down bottom. I give y'all a shout. Love y'all. I really appreciate y'all. But yeah, man. I mean, I don't know, man. I see. The only thing about it, I don't want. You know, in every community, what we don't realize. That's the reason why I've been putting up a lot of these culture videos. It's sad when people highlight like the lowest of tier, because in every culture there's people that just they're coming up. I won't say the lowest, because I don't like to say low high, just to say that they're not as fortunate as the people at the top of the culture. And for some reason, every single time it seems with black culture, people like to highlight the foolishness and the nonsense, and highlight the way that we brush things off. But when it comes down to building things and like actually, like, you know, being number one at what we do and being, you know, a standout, those are the things that usually people, they don't highlight. They steal, or they try to get their props off of it. And that in within the whole, it made the black community not trusting within each other. And that's the reason why a lot of people that's lost in our culture, they go out to other cultures and they try to buy into things that they think mentally will make them look a standout within the culture. But really what it does is shows people that how lost you really are. Like, you know, it's kind of like not saying that everybody, you know, I can't say everybody likes diamonds, but diamonds are very nice. But when you get all gaudy with it and you go out there and then you can't impress the people that actually have money that's not into that type of thing and pushing their stuff out in the public, the only people you can turn around and belittle are your own people. People that's blinded and not knowing when they get to that point, they don't even know if they're gonna buy so much jewelry or this and that. But it's just knowing that the worth of whatever you spent for that, they possibly think that they could have probably did something better with it. And that's when that whole back and forth, you know, you ain't this, you ain't that comes up. And I always told you guys, I hate when people do that to people, because the person that's actually talking down on the person, you're not realizing that person is hurt as well. You know, like if you have so much money and you have so much things going on in your life, but some way, somehow you feel like, you know what, I want to make that person feel bad today. And I'm going to talk down on that person. Oh, you ain't this, you ain't that. Oh, you don't got as much as this. What does that say for that person talking down on the person? Yeah, they might, and yeah, that person might still have more than that person in their mind, but do they have more morals? Do they have things that possibly you can't buy into than that person? That's the part that's really, you know, substantial as being what kind of human being you are. So people see it from a different lens. And I also got to remember, I told you there's an interview. I seen another interview. Let's shouts out to Doggy Diamonds. Now, what I'm about to say about this particular interview, the interview was short and it had me thinking. It had me thinking because, like in my last, I did the Puerto Ricans versus Dominicans, just the different dynamics. And before that video started, I remember just saying, we had to have some kind of unity with Fat Joe. I know he might have said down talk to FBA and this and that, but maybe, if he comes out with a sorry, if he feels bad about it. But then I see this Doggy Diamonds interview, you guys, and it was a guy that he interviewed. His name was Raheem, and Raheem was saying that, him and his girlfriend, um, I guess he was working. You guys got to go check it out because I don't want to take away from the story. But just to make a long story short, a guy and a black guy and a Puerto Rican girl, they were dating, and they went out to this function, this event where Fat Joe he was a part of it. And I guess Fat Joe knew the guy and knew the girl too. And when the guy walked off, Fat Joe goes to the female and he says, why are you with this monkey? You making us look bad. So Doggy Diamonds made him repeat it, and he said, yeah, Fat Joe said, why are you with this monkey? You're making us look bad. And my mouth just dropped. And I said to myself, the wow factor wasn't in that. The wow factor to me came when it's like every time, and look, and it made me think. This is what it first made me think. When I said, I don't think Fat Joe is racist, I had to understand and retract it and understand that there's different levels to racism. And I think that a lot of people get that part of it confused. Some people think racism is just like a thing where, oh, it's just like black people, I hate black people, I can't stand them, they're this, they're that, and the slurs come out, the N-word come out, all of these things in the past come out on that. But that's one level to racism. There's also another level of racism where inside of your mind and your head, you look down on black people, even when a black person is doing good and doing great for themselves, or even dating somebody within your culture. We see a lot of people, when you see like mixed couples and things like that, you see people frowning up their face and things when they're walking in the mall or something. You see people like not feeling, they're edgy with them, and it's like, yo, mind your business. You're not dating them. Why are you so in their business? So this could be also another level of racism when you look at a black person and you just feel like they shouldn't, they're like, like they shouldn't be dating within your race, and they're this and they're that. And when you use those terms like monkey and things like that, those are terms that we heard, our ancestors they were hung for, killed for, and people looked at us like, we weren't anything, and they was just comparing us to monkeys and things like that. All of this disrespectful stuff. So for him to dig that deep, allegedly, if this is true, it just goes to show that some people, they'll do anything for the money, they'll hide behind the money, they'll stand around people and not have a love for them, but still have a love for the money so much that they can still be a part of it and still blend in. That's what it made that sound like, and I was just very surprised by it. It's saddening, but it's not surprising in these times of hip hop, because like I told you, we're living in like the Squid Games era, where a lot of people that's lost and they're empty-minded, they'll do anything for money, and that includes guys and girls. I've seen it. It's not, after a while, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't care if the females get mad. It's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth. Before social media came on, a lot of females, they had this whole like thing against strippers and things like that, and saying that, and to me, stripping is more a form of an entertainment because it's more in a controlled environment where you're going to see that, you're having your entertainment out of that, and it stops there. Wherever it goes and it goes outside of that, that can become illegal. So at the end of the day, when it came down to stripping and the business of that, I've seen a lot of like females in the past frown their face to that, and then come social media, the more sexualization started going up, females started fitting into that. Now you can't tell the difference on social media from a stripper or the beautiful lady going 9 to 5, both beautiful people, but it just goes to show you how social media pulls everybody in. And if their intentions are only for money and making more and getting that out of it, these are the routes that people tend to take. Not the stripping route, because that's more like a controlled job of, entertainment. But I'm talking more of just getting on social media and you see their behind before you see their face. You know what I mean? Like you're scrolling through the pictures, you didn't even see if the person's beautiful yet, but you can tell every pimple on their behind. That's what I'm talking about. The people that just go in there and they're like, you know what? Forget it. I'm gonna quit my job. I'm gonna do this OnlyFans thing, and I'm just gonna have to go down this route. Those were the same people before this social media came. They frown up to people, and that's it goes to show you that just how you feel like something could be deemed the worst, it's never about the thing. It's where your intentions are. If your intentions are just getting money, you can find yourself lost in any form of life. So that's just like an eye opener, like where people are taking it. And I'm not pushing it away from the fellas, because I'll be honest with you, if stripping was popular for the fellas, we'll probably be bigger hoes than the females. And that's just I ain't lying to you, because I've seen dudes do some more. Some of these guys, you wouldn't think they would stoop so low to talk in certain ways, but then you see how you like, man, you guys do more gossip than it's crazy. So we're living in a time where information is crazy. And I want to give you, before this loses my head, I want to let people remember this. Like, in these times, what your mistakes are going to be the evidence for social media, some way, somehow. So, but you got to be very careful of if you're making mistakes online. And remember, those are pictures being painted of your character that you possibly can't take back, because people are going to be reposting and using it for this, using it for that. So it's very hard to erase that when you're dealing with, you're making your mistakes and these things that could be avoided on social media. It's almost like saying, you're talking about like how in drill music, you see a lot of people talking down on people's past family and things like that. When you do things like that, yeah, no matter what, you can piece it up. But let's just say somebody reposted, he has it, he did a reaction. Now it's still in the universe. And once it's still in the universe, that aura is going to live forever around you. So you got to be very mindful of the words that you use in these times, because they can be used against you. Every mistake you make in these times will be evidence for social media. Let me see, hold on. I seen you at the Diddy party last year. Big Diddy will be home soon. You think Diddy's coming home? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know, man. I don't know. The diddler doesn't look good for the diddler, and I'm gonna tell you the reason why. Because it's no longer, it's way past the victims. Now it's more concentrated on what is gonna stick to the table. They already have enough substantial evidence to put him away, so I don't know. You think, okay, you got a point. So, I think some of them, I'm not saying they're all telling the truth. Some of them could be possibly lying, but what they have, I'm not. And let's scratch out the victims. They still have the drugs. They still have the gun. They still have the video footage of Cassie right there. And did y'all see there's a new documentary coming up on him? And there's other people, other victims. It's monster stuff. I don't know. Planted it how? That's my whole thing. Like, if it wasn't, I don't know, man. I don't know. Oh, I gotta say some before I go on. Healing energy goes out to Project Pat. His son was recently a victim of gun violence in the neighborhood where Project Pat actually is serving the youth and giving youth more uplifting and inspiring the youth to do better with their life. They took his own son away in that same area. Ain't that sad, man? So healing energy goes up to Project Pat and with the passing of his son. That's sad. I mean, come on. But you know what? As celebrities, you guys also have to take some kind of responsibility, a deeper step into responsibility for your kids. You can be MC so and so, and your kid is going to be looked at MC so and so's kid. And there is a part of jealousy that can lead into your kid, or you don't know how your kid is conducting himself out there. He could be walking around like MC so and so is my dad. And now that builds up. He doesn't, so you have to be mindful how your kid is out there, and you have to be mindful who he's around, because I'm pretty sure if his father was doing good for the community, this and that, his son couldn't be that much far away from, a good person. I can't see his father, trying to uplift the community, inspire the community, and his son being a gangbanger. So that don't make sense. So it sounds like jealousy could have been a part of this. If not jealousy, probably have something to do with a female or something down that route. But in all, he still ended up getting, he's a victim of gun violence. I mean, come on now, and it's scary out here, because what that says to me, that whole Project Pat situation, it says to me, even if you have to really do something from your heart, because the same place that the same people, and this is like in our black culture, the same people you're trying to go out there, uplift, and help, could be the same people turn around and point the gun back at you. Because being good to people, being a nice person, being positive, all of that stuff breeds jealousy to a person that's lost and misguided. And people got to understand that too. It doesn't necessarily, people don't have to be jealous of you because you have $1 million. People can be jealous of you because you have a better way of getting over your hurdles. You have a better way of solving your problems. You have a better outlook on life than they do, and they feel like taking that outlook is too much for them. So now that jealousy is breeding within them. And usually the further you stay, the distance you stay away from them, is the more that it ends up hurting and ruining themselves. And we see a lot of people self-destructing on social media because of this. You got somebody on social media making you feel some certain way. You're not around them, but every time you turn on, you're addicted to going back to this hurt. And that's what ends up becoming part of your life. You know how many times I see people fall into that, where they're just I would say over emotional about something that they can't control? That shows that your mental health is not saying that you have a strong mindset. No, that's not what it says. It says that there's a part of that becomes a key that opens something in you that can make you snap or make you just lose all your energy. You have to be mindful of this stuff. I feel like if it doesn't pertain to you, or it's not going to be effective in your family's life or something like that, then let it slide. That's it. You can't take on things, and because remember, pain weighs different on every individual person. Differently. We all take pain different ways. I could probably see somebody get shot, and I could probably take that in a little less of a person that's not from an aggressive environment, and they might, if they see that might ruin their life. They might have to quit their job, move this and do that. Where as for somebody that's a little more used to that, you can live in that environment and still prosper, because you're raised through it. So how people take things in is very different, and social media makes everybody take it in at one time. Boom. How do you feel? And people get hurt behind that. Another thing that came across that I said, you see, and let's take a little drive through relationships real quick. The relationship block. Carly Ray and what's dude's name? Trippie Redd. So they just recently, she's still pregnant, and she's already complaining about cheating allegations and things like that. That's the sad thing about this whole. And I'm not gonna say that this is something that just started in this generation, but what I'm seeing now is that it doesn't take long for a person to go back to whatever their ways that they are used to and accustomed to that makes them comfortable. And not to just put it on Trippie's Red like he can't get himself together, but it just goes to show you, man, you gotta be careful of who you lay down with. And I feel like in these times, people should wait a little longer than we did to have kids. And even though they say it's good at having kids at an earlier age so you can see the kids live through, I just feel like in these times they should take a little slowdown on that. In our times that would have worked, but in these times take a little slowdown, get to know the person, and if you can at least stay with that person within 5, 6, 7 years, then you might have a little better run with that person. Just because you know somebody from high school, I'm pretty sure I heard a little story on them that they knew each other. It doesn't mean you was with that person all the way through. Grow with the person, live with the person, try to see if this thing can work, because everybody comes with their little issues. And if the issue is big enough where you can't deal with it within a relationship, don't get down there and sleep with somebody, because when the kids get involved, all of this stuff weighs in on them. It might not weigh now, but later on, come on, come on. It's crazy. Sometimes it makes me wonder, do I, coming from a single, like if single family homes, if you come from a single family home where you only have one parent always around, then you take a different outlook on just how relationships work and how they, but if you put yourself in other, if you know how to put yourself in other people's shoes, and you see what's best for how the for the kid instead of you guys, you realize that it takes two, man. It takes two. Not the village thing, you can cross that out in these times. Some of our communities, people can't trust each other, hurting each other. So it's gonna take a strong family structure to make sure it go right. Excuse me. So, but at the end of the day, if you have just a parent, one parent here, you're visiting your parent here, and then now the kid is lost, you don't know in between that time what your kid is interested in, or your kid could want to do music, drill music, and you don't even know the difference. You don't even know the difference. Man. Another thing I wanted to tell you guys. Oh, the update on the mob wives. I know I brought you guys that story, and I think it was 2 lives ago, and they found her. So she's not, when you hear mob wives, you automatically think the mob movies and things like that. Oh my God, they got her. But thank God she's still living. And I believe it was some flight issues and things like that. They couldn't find her. She was trying to find a phone to speak to. So they're back in communication, and she's all right. She's living and here in the present. Okay. So that's just a little update on, because when you think of mob wives and things, you don't know what's going on, man. The mob is real. Everybody know that. The mob is real. They'll get you if they can get you. Oh, did you guys hear Jay-Z? His Rock Nation partner, he's partners with a South Korean company for a fan-owned music shares, meaning that I believe, I don't know if let me see something. Fans could own shares in the artist. I think that's what it's saying. I don't know. I really want to look into that. It says a fan-owned shares in songs, providing a fresh investment opportunity in the music industry. I thought that was clever. That's clever. That's clever. So shouts out to Jay-Z for so that it's what it sounds like to me is that I don't know if this is take this with a grain of salt, because I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but it sounds like Jay-Z is giving fans an opportunity to have shares in their favorite artists. And I think that is so dope. Not only does that, it opens up people's eyes in the lower communities to invest in, but it's also a thing that could possibly build the black community. Like a lot of, and especially in these times, the fans do more work than the artists. I'm talking about reposting the artist's music, talking about the artist, making different videos on artists. All of this comes into promotion of the artist. So why not give the fans a chance to own some shares within the artist, this particular songs? And not only would that be dope, I think that would be great for the artists that don't get an air all the time. And like me personally, I don't listen to like certain music that everybody just goes along and listen to. A lot of this stuff, it's kind of crazy. We'll get into that. I'll explain that to you in a second. But it kind of like, if you have an artist that you want to build as a fan, you can invest in shares into the song, it sounds like. So I'm going to look into that, and I'll definitely bring you a better explanation on that whole Jay-Z. But so far, it sounds good. And yeah, Jay still has the heart, being that even if he's, people are talking to this about his character, Jay still has that leadership within him to still push forward, and the things that he has in his mind to accomplish that will better the culture. I see he's still stepping forward and doing that. So shouts out to Jay-Z, man. You know what? We got to build our people up, and it takes that. That's when you know a leader. A leader could take the blows and say, you know what? I know y'all don't understand what's going on. I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I'm suing you crazy, but check this out. Boom. So if that's what it sounds like, I'm thinking that's what it sounds like. I feel like that's going to open up fans and a lot of people to understanding more about investing in their money and waiting, and instead of just snatching, smashing, and grabbing everything so instant. I think that's gonna pace things out in people's and just people's everyday living, and it gives you a better chance of what your intake of the music you love. You put shares into that, because up to this time, I don't think, fans do a lot for these artists, and sometimes they don't even see it that way. But when the fans start tuning out, that's when they see the hit. That's when these companies stop. That's when a lot of these people start losing their jobs because they start feeling that hit of you don't care, I don't care. And that's kind of the energy of 2025. How you make me feel is how that's the type. If I'm that's gonna depend on how I bring you that bare minimum energy. If I'm giving you bare minimum energy, that means that you did something that I don't want to be in your presence. I want to go where my presence is felt. And I feel like the more people take on that energy, you'll find more value within yourself. Another thing I seen too, Polo G, he sparks. This is kind of like what we was talking about. He sparked a debate about streamers making more money than rappers. And you know what? I feel like you should have some kind of understanding. Number one, streamers always made more than rappers because of sponsorship and the time. A video, if you think about it, some of these videos, like a rap video or anything like that, it's not going to be more than 4 minutes, and these times even 2, 3 minutes. And when it comes down to streaming, it's a longer length, so there's more video, ad space, and time. There's a whole lot that goes. The reason why streaming with a music, it's a lot. It weighs out, But I mean, you got to know what God put you here to do. It's not. That's like if you're gonna be lost if you're having an argument between streamers and rappers. So what you want to do? If you want to rap or do you want to be a streamer? These are not the same things. So if it's just for the money, you find yourself lost because you'll take anything that's making the most money, and that's not the way to go about it. Let the streamers do the streaming, let the rappers do the rapping, and everything will go all right. Like I feel like rappers, they don't have to do it. Like that's why I said, if you're a rapper and you're a current rapper in this time, doing a podcast is kind of iffy because all of the stuff that you talk in a podcast, that should be formatted in your rap form. And I see a lot of people not understanding nowadays in hip hop. This is what I wanted to bring to you guys. Nowadays in hip hop, a lot of older MCs don't understand the temperature of today. The reason why it's so hard today to believe in a lot of artists is because, for example, me, myself, I don't look at an artist now like how I used to and say, oh, he's nice. That's not what I look for in an artist. You know why? Because I'm going to tell you the biggest trick you can be a rapper tomorrow after I tell you this, okay? That's how easy it is to rap. If you never ever picked up a pen, you want to learn how to rap, you can be a rapper in 24 hours. Chat GPT. I'm a writer myself, and I hear a lot of people in their music, they are using AI to work their words out, their bars out, so that takes away from the talent. That makes the talent lose the value. So I never think, personally, if I hear a person just spitting up a whole bunch of words and it might sound like this, I never think that it's like they're good. And it's sad to say it like that, but I'm just keeping it 100 with you. I always think like it depends on the song. How does that song make me feel? And I kind of just judge it off a song. But if you had to measure talent, no, I won't trust no rapper in these times. I'm sorry. It started with like I started hearing like the Drake cadence, and I'm keeping it real with you. People started biting Drake, and they're using his flow, but just telling it in a street format, being that Drake was using it in like a structured format. But now with ChatGPT, you can sound like Drake, you can sound like Kendrick Lamar, you could sound like Taylor Swift, Beyonce. Well, not Taylor Swift or Beyonce because they're singers, and you have to have actually some kind of. But I'm pretty sure AI is working on that too. But nowadays, you can become a rapper from ChatGPT in 24 hours. If you ask ChatGPT to make you your music, and now that starts to become like just a factory made stuff. So believing in artists, the value of believing in the artist went down, and we're more valued their entertainment or that direct song. How does that song make you feel? But if you had to judge and score talent, I can't do that in these times, and it's sad, but I can't because I know that there's so many different things that come into play for these people making their music. A lot of the stuff sounds karaoke or done over, and the ones that sound like different, they don't get that standout power anymore. The people that get the standout power are the people that kind of sound familiar but just have different hooks, so the music will all run in a line like when DJs are playing it. But when the talent value of that part of it, it's hard for me to believe, like say somebody's nice or skilled, because this chat GPT, y'all, and we're not fools. It even hit battle rap. A lot of the battle rappers are having this same problem where we're hearing a duplication of others MCs, that more people that come in, they just start sounding duplicate, and they also go to the chat GPT. I'm telling you, they have so many AI services nowadays that's helping people write, and that right there took away the value for me to trust in what certain artists. Now, if you was an artist in the past before this chat GPT thing started coming in and all of this AI stuff, then I might look at it like a little different. Like, I'm not gonna look at like a Nas, or like if like a like if Redman dropping his new album, I'm not gonna look at those guys as, like they're using chat GPT, because they're not used to that format. They're used to writing it pen to pad. But everything that came after in this new era, I just don't look like and say it's not about the skill for me, because a lot of people sound the same. It's just mostly about the song and the words in the song. Is it how is that, how I feel, or how am I connected with that? So if you guys can understand that, that's the reason why I don't really, it's harder for me to just say, oh, he's good at what he does or this and that, because I know, we're only human, and I'm not stupid. Even in New York, they're starting to try to trying to ban the cell phones in high schools. And as much as I know, if I put myself in those high schoolers' shoes, they don't know how I went to high school. I went to high school, you couldn't use a phone. You didn't have that. You couldn't do none of that. No beepers, no none of that stuff. You couldn't really pull that out. But in their era, that's all they know. So pulling that away from them might sound a little bad and frictional to them. But what they're not understanding is it devalues the level of education that is being recommended coming out of these schools. So even if you come out of school and these type of things are present, it doesn't necessarily mean that people are going to value that you're going to be the best at your job. So there's some things that AI enhances, and there's certain things that AI takes away from the human experience that makes it that much harder to differentiate who's who and what's what. So yeah, that's kind of, and if you artists out there feel like that could be a problem, and you want people to see the skills in you, you have to do more things that's offline, like and do things that doesn't, show people that you're writing it on camera, and do things like that, because I just can't go. I can't believe a lot of these guys. I can't. I'm a writer myself, and I would never ever go to Chat GPT to write a book or any one of these things. And I hear a lot of people out here, they're like, oh, I got a book coming out next week, and I know these people, they're doing the Chat GPT thing. I just can't buy into your stuff. I can't buy into that stuff. I'd rather the old man giving me a story that would inspire me or uplift me with the book he wrote from his own writing, than having to put it in some kind of format so it can write it out for you. That's just my take on it. I know in the past there's been a lot of writers for a lot of these people that do these books, but at the same point, I like to buy into people's like genuine thoughts and experiences, instead of constructing something just so it can fit the masses, if you understand. So if you can understand that, that's just the level of mindset that I'm on. I'm very hard and very critical on the things that I buy into, because I don't have that much, so I have to make sure what I have is worth when I buy it. That's all. Another thing that kind of struck my attention here, and it saddened me, man. This saddened me, and I want you guys to, because remember I told you guys I had worked in the Diamond District, and they were actually a Jewish family that I was directly working for, and they're still friends with the family today. Actually, they married my mom and my dad. But that whole thing with Jeff. Okay, so recently we're with the Donald Trump, his inauguration, everything, him going in, signing these bills, getting things, changing things around. We've seen Elon Musk do the sign with the Nazi sign, and allegedly, I don't know, how they're taking that, but I seen it wasn't that much kickback from the Jewish community at that point, and it got me thinking, like, when it came down to like the Nick Cannons and everybody that might have like the Kanye West said something about the Jewish community, they were so quick to just get them canceled, and even though it wasn't right because those people had said wrong about them, why isn't that energy still, why are they giving more grace to Jeff Bezos, because, and these people that, okay, but Jeff, I'm bring Elon and Jeff actually. So Elon did that, and they didn't even go at him. But Jeff Bezos, you know, with Amazon, I'm hearing that the LGBTQ rights and black equality for they had like these, how can I say it, like, there were policies that Amazon had that they were supporting them. So let's just say you're on Amazon and you buy something, you might get a discount if this goes to the LGBTQ or equal black rights. All of that, those policies vanished. When Donald Trump got in office, vanished. I don't know. I don't know what it means. I'm not saying the man is this or the man is that, but I'm just saying those policies vanished. So you have to be very careful, you know, of just the things and the things you invest your money into. I'm telling you, you can be investing into your own death in these times and don't even know it just because you're misguided. A lot of people are stressed out right now because they're losing people, just worried about what's next to happen and things like that. A lot of deaths going on, especially with the wildfires and things like that. People are on edge. So that could be a tipping scale for a lot of people that are dealing with mental issues, knowing that the people that you thought you can trust, it's just turning their backs on you. It's a scary world that we're living in these times, man. People got to really start taking things way more serious. I'm hoping the best for Donald Trump, that he doesn't take it to the too much extremes. I know people saying this whole revenge thing, but I'm seeing him certain things, you know, possibly could help out America. So I'm hoping he goes for the good, you know, just goes to try to do as much good things for the people as he can. And you know, when it comes down to politics and things like that, I think more of the change comes within us instead of just waiting on other people to change. We have, as people, have to start the changes first, and that will reflect on how people look at us and things like that. But it's crazy out here to see that, you know, people out there putting up these signs and things like that, and then a couple weeks before on YouTube or something, you would have probably seen that on some conspiracy, and there'd have been a whole group of people saying, "Oh, that's not true, this and that." But now when you see it in front of your face, it's like, what are you gonna do now? What are we gonna do now? That's how that felt, and I was saddened that the Jewish community didn't step up like I thought they would to even you know, speak or even try to even do what they cancel him or even say, we're not buying Teslas. We didn't see nothing like that. We didn't see anything like that. So it's sad when you get that feeling of, are my people being overcharged because of our people, or I'm not saying that it's equality in this world, but it's an eye opener to just be careful of the people that you think you want to cancel, because the people that's going to be canceling them eventually, they're probably the same people that's going to be trying to cancel you, you know? It's crazy out here, man. But what could we do? What could we do? We could only try to figure things out. I feel like, just getting back on that ASAP, I feel like he made a bad decision as not taking those 6 months. Them people only wanted Rihanna do an album, get things going. Some of these guys, you know, they keep the ladies inside, they pregnate them up, they can't do nothing, can't go nowhere, and you know, it messes up the business, and I don't know, man. I can't get too deep into that. I love Rihanna, family for life, you know. I got a special episode dropping today at 10 o'clock. I want you guys to tune in. You can't miss this episode. It's really, 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 really good, you guys. I know you guys are going to enjoy it. So that's going to be dropping tonight at 10. A little something you guys can watch over and over again for the weekend. But yeah. That's gonna be dope. I'll surprise you guys with the title and everything. I probably put like a early premiere on it, you know, so you guys can check that out. I told you I was working. I got a couple things for you guys that I wanted to bring to you. But it's sad, man. A lot of people, they're two-faced, and you got to be careful, man. When you see a person, you got to watch a person's character if they'll do anything for the money and things like that. And you will know that, is this the person I want to be around? Is this the person I want to invest my time into? Why do black people act shocked about Diddy when y'all been you? Tell him again, tell him again, tell him again. Jack Frost, it's so true, it's so true. I don't know why these people are acting shocked, because they knew this was going on behind the scenes. The more information that we're hearing is the same information that we was thinking and saying. The people are like, no way. Like now I hear again how Diddy had put Usher in the hospital. It was on the same video I was talking to you about. MC Shan was speaking on that. Like, nah, and it's wrong. I feel, and I'm not saying that I don't want to blame the victims, but Usher, if that is true, as a man, I don't care if you're going if that's what happened to me and the whole world you trying to call me out and he did this and that. I would have never, even if I don't want to say nothing to the public, I wouldn't have been around there trying to support him and this and are you crazy? No, that man is a monster, yo. And to be honest with you, it gets scary when a person is threatening people behind the scenes and has a whole bunch of money. I can understand how the females were scared to just, because some of them had police reports. This was proven. That part we can prove. That's after some of these incidents, some females ran to the police, and after that, nothing was being dealt with. I don't know how he dealt with that as far as paying off, or he knew the right places to move, where he had people in authority that he was friends with, that he can get things out of the way. His lawyer might have known, or his, people that he deal with might have known to wipe things under the rug. But it definitely looks scary when, the females are coming out now. The reason why they're scared, that next documentary has more people, and they have their stories intact. So I don't know. Some people say free Diddy, but I would more say, this is, I can't stop what it's supposed to be. All I can report on the things that I've seen and what people are saying and take everything with a grain of salt. But it don't look right. Something don't look right. Now, I feel you. I feel like there's way more celebrities that knew about this type of lifestyle this man was going at. I feel they knew. And it's sad because where are the people that, and I'm not saying that you can stop two people from having sex, but where were those people when Young Miami was dating? They didn't pull her to the side, or it's because that we don't have that trust within each other. We get back to this point again. We get back to that point again. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I remember. Let me see. It was a famous serial killer, right? I don't know. I don't know if it was Ted Bundy or one. It was one of those groups, the top 5. You guys are gonna remember this story, but there's a part of this story that plays a part in what I'm trying to say today. Now, the guy, he was graping a whole bunch of women in the area, but he had a family at home, wife, young daughters, sons at home. And they didn't know nothing about his lifestyle. The only person that knew at home about his lifestyle or what he do to people was who? His wife, because he graped her too. But one day, he starts graping this other female across the town, right? And that female, I guess some way, somehow, she was trying to get help from, she found out that he had another family on the other side. So now she's trying to get help from his wife. His wife pulled up some kind of resentment that even though he was doing that to her, she still felt hate for the other lady for sleeping with her husband. You see how tricky and wiry this crazy thing got? So she even though she didn't like what was being done to her, she let that slide and let him do all of that because she realized now that what he was doing to her, he was doing to other people in the street and keeping it hidden from his house, raping all of the women. So now that lady now, she was trapped with the monster now. Now she was trapped with the monster, and that is the same pain that in our culture that we deal with, because people want to see people go through the same pain they went through. And if for 1 second they feel like you had a better route of going, or you took a different route and you went this route, that's when the hate starts building up and the jealousy. Because it has to be something in our culture that makes people say, even if a person, it could be fake jewelry. It could be a stack of money with ones under it and 20s on top. And they still point that gun in your face and take your life. Even if after they try to point it and say this was fake or this ain't enough money, it still feel enough for them. And that's sad in our community. Because what happens is we're going to start pointing, everybody starts pointing now the pistol at everybody. You know what I mean? We got to get away from that. When we see people like this outside of our community that's coming back to hurt us, there has to be an alarm set like, oh, nah, you can't do that. It's just like Shan said, like a lot of people, that's a part I don't understand too, because he gave a good talking on, for a kid that's being abused, from a parent's point of view, don't go tell your kids, oh, if so and so or somebody does something to you, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, because that makes it even harder for that kid to open up to you if it does happen. You don't have control if it happens to your kid. You really don't. You can only instill the things that you hopefully they'll remember so they won't get themselves in there. But like we all know how life works, they're going to do what they're going to do. So at the end of the day, you can't really stop them at that point. You can't have that type of mindset and say, tell your kid, because then they're going to not want to tell you what's going on so you don't get yourself hurt, because that's what happened with Diddy. Diddy, if he's threatening the females and telling them this is what's going to happen to your family, even if he's smiling their face when they come around, she remembers what he told her in that room about them, what happened. It's just like with Al B. Shore. Yeah, people might look at him like, how could you let somebody steal your girl, this and that? Yeah, that might be how it looks, but nobody just hand their girl over like that. You go through arguments, you go back and forths and lies and oh, I'm not messing with him, and she's really messing with him, and then after a while she comes back and Kim Porter gives him a warning like, don't get on that gangster stuff with him, giving him a warning, oh, this man is powerful, da 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 da. And now he's in a position where, you know what, go ahead, you can have her, we have kids, a kid together. You know how tricky that can get? That you're playing with life or death at this point. At that point, you're playing with life or death. Like it's either you're gonna sleep behind the bushes or you're just gonna keep walking up the street. It's only come on now. This is how it's going. So I can have an understanding of people just being scared to come forward and nothing happening. Because if you think about all those people, if they had came forward in the past, you think that they would have made it to this point that Diddy is going to be put behind bars for one person coming forward? No, that's not how life works. It had to come with everybody come together. And the reason why we've seen people come out after, and they started realizing, oh, there's a possibility he can't get out, then he can't come to hurt me, or the things that he told me he would do, there's a possible chance he can't do that. Okay, cool. This is my story. So for me to say the man is an innocent man, I can't go with that. Not with all of this. Not with all of this. Not with all of this. I'm sorry. Nah. No way. No way. Now, as far as how much time he's gonna get and things like that, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really want to say how much time a person should get. I'm not really for that. But if you're asking me, do I feel like there's wrongdoing in this? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Let me see. Bro, my girl was supposed to meet on, okay, January. And talking for 3 years. 3 years is a good amount of time. She decided to stay with her family until August. I feel so upset for my loneliness. How? Okay. Okay. So. Okay. Now the first thing that strikes me here in this conversation. So she wants. You said you guys been messing around for 3 years, but she still wants to stay within her family. That's almost a little bit of that's not too bad, but there is a little trust issue in her. She has to have enough trust within you that you guys can move together, and you have to have some kind of understanding within her. Maybe she's close to her family, and are you close living? Do you guys live close to each other? Because if you don't live close to each other, her disconnecting to her family and just going all the way with you, even though you guys been messing around for 3 years, that's a big leap. That's a big leap. If you look at it this way, her family, if it's a good family, they love her. She wants to break away from the crew, the family, and still be with you, but she still probably wants to keep that family structure. So if you don't live close to them, that's a big leap. But if you do live close to them, or maybe you can find yourself where you guys can work it out, where maybe you get in a place and she moves in a place where it's equal to both of you guys, kind of close to. Because nowadays, when it comes down to relationships and things like that, there is a part of it that people say, I don't know, it might not work out. Even though you're not supposed to think like that, you gotta fight for your love through all the steps of it, in a way. And it looks like if you want her to live there, that's a step both of you guys gotta keep going over and spend some time with each other. Even though it's 3 years, trust me, it's still time moves so fast. What you need to do is build up the level of trust that she will understand that she can trust in you, that she can move away from her family. She'll be feeling she's gonna get the same amount of love, if not more, with you. And then once you start building that trust within her, then it can go way further than her just moving in. Now it could be something that you could possibly have something for life. So don't look at it like a bad thing. Just look at it on something you have to work out with. Sometimes you want your lady close to you, and sometimes you being apart builds a level of trust within each other that it makes the relationship that much better if that helps you. But yeah, don't just give up on love, man. Sometimes families they in these times, all the stories and situations we see, for the daughters, they want to keep their family close to them. So try to take that and don't give up on it. Don't give up on love. Salute, salute. Shouts out to the bloggers, Purge Show. Shouts out to you, man. Yeah, nowadays everything that we do, especially when it comes down to relationship, it has a lot to do with trust. And what females don't really understand, like it's harder to trust them when we know it's that insecurity level right there is something that I think every man has no matter what. No matter what, even if you're at the top of your game and you have a lady and you are still trying to find a sense, is she attracted to that other person? Even though it might not even be that. That's we all men, we all have that within us. And sometimes if we don't get it our way, the ladies don't understand that it can be it's like walking on eggshells thinking that she might possibly fall in love with somebody else, and if you feel like you're the right person, she's going to get tricked. A lot of girls get tricked out of the bag thinking that the grass is greener on somewhere else, and they end up in these positions with these guys. They might have more money than you, but are they willing to break that off and give that female half or give the whatever they want? No, they don't have the love in that. They probably stingy with it, and just to show face that she has a man that has this and that, they'll sit in that puddle in that relationship and make it, they're rather how it looks than how it actually feels. Meanwhile, you have a couple over here and they're breaking bread together. She's even actually buying him clothes, and you look good in this, babe. Put this on. This guy was talking to me that he smelled like this. I bought this for you. She upgrading you and you upgrading her, like, oh, taste this new thing. Taste this new, this is from my culture. Taste this, this is flying fish, or, you guys are building within each other. It's like it's a complete opposite difference when you add the money and make that the be all of the relationship. That's what breaks relationships. Relationships, when you come from the bottom with your shorty, or y'all are working your way to a certain point, it was our, that was one of our, as males, that was our biggest mistake in relationships. We the one that messed that up, because we hear these stories about how, she was with him in the gym, basketball, and then when he got up to the NBA, he ran off with the white girl or ran off with so and so, and now he ain't looking back at her. That was our fault. We brought that in. So that level of trust right there, the ladies look at that and they always on eggshells now. Like, I don't know if he might run off with her. So we have to take that same energy that the ladies put their trust in us and use it for us to put our trust in them. And that breaks all the way down from your kids, treating both the boy and the girl the same, knowing that they're human beings and they're going to make these mistakes whether they have a penis or a vagina. They're still human beings, and these mistakes can be made by both of those kids. Once you get that level of equalness within us as people, we know what wrongs we do. We know how freaky we are. We know where our minds take it. We know, but it's a level of balance where you be like, you know what? She fits this balance right here. Like, nah, she upgrades me. Like, I feel better, more accomplished when I'm around her. She makes me feel like the man that I'm trying to live up to be. Instead of, she makes me feel like, oh, I'm just doing too much, or I should be doing this, I should be doing that. Why you ain't doing this for me? Why we can't eat here, eat there? All of that stuff surrounds a toxic relationship. And it surrounds you loving that person maybe for body structure, her sex, but then you want somebody else that makes you feel better. So now you're looking for that person, and eventually you might downgrade those features, the sex and the body and stuff, just for a person that makes you feel better. So you have to jump to that person from the start before you even think about, because look how many girls now, they behinds, as you put on their Instagram, you see their behind and they breast before you even see their face. And you, ooh, damn, what I would do, damn. But then after you get with the chick and then she's still doing that on Instagram and you're like, no, pull that down. I don't want nobody to see. What do you mean pull it down? That's how you met her. That's how you gonna leave her. So don't be a fool and fall victim to the just the sexual parts of these relationships. The connection is what's the main thing, you know? The connection with a person. You know what? It makes me go back, if we want to keep it on a hip hop structure, that's the reason why that Tupac is who he was. Tupac, I can more give you an example on how, you know, to treat the ladies through hip hop and the way he did it. Now, even though Tupac wasn't the most, let's just say he wasn't the most, like he wouldn't stay with one person, but every individual lady that came in encounter with Tupac, just because a man doesn't want to settle down with you, doesn't mean that he's a bad guy. And people get that mixed up. If you let people know clearly how you are, what you want, what you see out of this, and they build an understanding in that, they can't take nothing away from you. Not everybody wants to be in a relationship. I felt like Pac, when it came to the ladies, that's the reason why he had a stronger connection with the females than other rappers. Other rappers just did what they did with females, and they was on to the next. Whereas Tupac, he was building, he wanted to know the essence of a female. And once you start embodying that in a female, and every female, I promise you, every female is going to look beautiful. And the things that you take from that female that you want to keep within yourself has nothing to do with her beauty, because you start to realize every female can get sexual. Every female, whether you think they look a certain way, if they do this, do that, do this and that, put a little makeup here, there, it gets sexual. So at the end of the day, you have to find things that's beyond that, so you won't be fooled by that, because there's so much of that. This beautiful chicks every day, every single day, and it's almost like porn. The more you watch of it, the more you watch, the more it just starts desensitizing how you feel about, making love. So it's the same thing when it comes down to relationships. And I would take that, because we got a lot of, in these times, I just feel the energy of these times. There's a lot of loving people single right now. And the people you see in relationships, might not be the most loving people. Those might just be the people that has the bag, and they're quicker to put things together, just as quick as they can take something from you and pay people to get it started. But that doesn't make the relationship last for years and years, does it? What makes these relationships last is when you can tell that story about, oh, I remember when you didn't even have no bag. You didn't even have a Coach bag. Now you all Hermes. Look at you. That's my baby. Look at you. You out there, you spinning around. You like, that's me. You know what I mean? I remember we came up together. That's a whole different story than you just shipping over 100 bags to a female like, happy birthday. No, it's not. Like you gotta build it up with people. Let people know that you at least have some sense of wanting to be there forever. If it ain't gonna be about forever, don't mention no relationships, and don't look up to these people in entertainment thinking that they can show you what love is about. If you really take a look at entertainment right now, you'll be so surprised that they don't even know what love is about, because they can't hold on to the people that they're with, because those people want different things than love when they are with those people. Though they might think that person loves them for this, that, and that, but meanwhile, that person might love them on some financial issues or some financial things they got going on, or they have some story later on, they want to get half of them people money and things like that. You can't do that. You can't look at that. So when you start from start your love from scratch. I don't care if you've been hurt before. I don't care if you want to date your own sex. Start all your love from scratch. Don't go over and date up somebody that's dating somebody, or somebody that look like somebody. No, try to find the people that can match your energy, and try to find the people that's going to care about you instead of these people. These people that have you sign a contract. And let me tell you something, how they trick the females. This is going to be a trick that you guys got to understand, and hear me out for this now. In this entertainment business, if you could be bought, you could be sold. Now, you might not think you could be sold. Like me. How did he sell me? How did he sell me? I'm a celebrity now. How did he sell me? I'm going to let you know. You came into that relationship, right? And you said he was rich. And he was in there and he was soothing you up, and he was buying you this, buying you that, buying you this. And one day he felt like he wanted to mess with another pretty face, right? So now the only people that you're in contact with, right, that has that match of money are the people that he brought you around. Meanwhile, you go off now, you know what? I'm gonna do me. I ain't paying no mind to him. I'm about to mess with an NBA player. He's richer. He has more money than him. And you go off with the NBA player and you think you got somebody. But you didn't realize you got sold. You understand how he sold you? Because you can't go in any other place and find somebody with that money. You have to be around the people that he brought you around to even get in that status. So you're stuck to deal with whatever comes with it, because if you left on your own, the only reason why you was dating that guy is because he had money. And if you step back and go back to wherever you came from, you won't be around those circles to ever get that chance again. So you have to look around for his friends now and the people that he's around that has money somewhat that can match him or more to find that person. You got sold. Because at the end of the day, he's going to come back and he's still going to have his money. And the reason why he's not going to worry about you going over there, because over there, he knows that guy. He knows that guy. Okay, and you're gonna get sold to the next person when that guy's through with you, because you know why? You're not gonna ever be able to sit in your head and think, I'm gonna have to do this on my own and find somebody that match my energy. You're matching the money that you never earned or you ever deserved, and that's where love is artificial. So if you got a price on your head and you do anything for money, yeah, people will sell you too. Yeah, that's when all this sex trafficking and this stuff goes around. Yeah. Because you're in a place where you are stuck there because you thought it was something and it became something else, and now these people want to tie you up or do whatever they got to do to get you off to the next person, and you go willingly because you think that next person is going to be less a monster than the first monster that sold you to that next person. Do you see how you have that price on you? Don't sell yourself short. As a human being, you should have more value within yourself. Don't let nobody put no price on you. Those prices are made up from other human beings. You'll let another human being put a price on you when God didn't put us here with no prices at all? You got to wake up. Wake up. Thinking you this and you that because you got this and you that. Ladies, don't you know, us men, we're not impressed by your pretty bags and this and that. That doesn't really impress us. Those are all the things that a lost female looks to other people to give her. A person that works hard, a female that works hard will realize, I'm not putting all my money into a bunch of bags. I work too hard for this. So you got to take you got to take control of your life and the people that you want loving in your life. You can't, it's easier to teach somebody how to love you than to go out there and expect somebody to love you the way you want them to love you. You got to teach people. People don't know you. You got to get to know people. If you just jump straight to the sex, of course it's not going to last long. What do you think? So he big up your belly now, your belly big now, and you feel like that your relationship going to be forever? You're a fool. No. When you out there and you got that price in it, some people can afford it. Remember that. Remember that. Never sell yourself short to people that have money, because these people think that they can. That's the reason why Diddy looked at people like items, because they could be bought. When you looking up and you worshiping these celebrities and I can't see my life without you. If something happened to them, you hurting like they part of your family. Who's the fool? Who's the fool? Sometimes you can't just blame the celebrities on how you look at them, because you believe in them. You believe in the tricks, the foolishness. That's the reason why it's going to be so hard going into the future. Let me tell you something. With the information that I'm going to give you guys, you will have a better understanding. You won't want to just buy a book from one of these people. You would know exactly what books you need to research, so you won't have to go in this duplicated stuff, and you'll get the real original stuff. If I can't write a book that's better than a book, or it can be more uplifting or niche down to my own people, then I'm going to tell you the book to go get it. The money don't got to go in my pocket. Did you ever see somebody offer you some books that they didn't write? No, pay attention. They're only selling you the books that they're selling. They're not going to tell you, this is the book I read, this is what got me into this job right now, got my money. They're not going to sell you that. They're going to sell you the book that they made off of ChatGPT. Why are you buying into that stuff? That's what I'm trying to tell you. The information is there for you and it's free, but you just don't know how to look it up. And then you got people selling you and you want to know where your money went. Why would you buy, and it's so crazy, why would you buy clothes from if you're buying, for me personally, if I'm buying fashion from like an artist, it's probably from one of their shows or merch. Those are the things that still hold value. But if a artist comes out with a clothing line, why am I buying fashion from a artist that's selling clothes? I want to buy my fashion from a fashion designer that their passion's in the fashion. Those artists are going to be passionate in the money. Pay attention to what's going on and stop being worshiping all of these people and throwing your money where blind and aimlessly because you think you know what it is. You don't know what it is. It's deeper than you think, and the moves on the chessboard is already going, and you're falling short. I refuse to have my peoples come up here and be fooled by these people. Don't go and mess with them people. All they want is your money. They don't. They want you to get sick, but they feel like they want you to buy into the medicine too now. And people out here got bad work on YouTube. You all know that. People making up lies on people, having people believe a whole bunch of nonsense. Next thing you'll hear is that the world is square. And that's no jokes on anybody, but people have to bring the right information for people to even have that ounce of trust in these times. Remember what I told you about Donald Trump? He's going to explain all the information that they was hiding in the back, because them people ain't, see, y'all thinking it's just Donald Trump. Yo, them people, they ain't messing with Donald Trump, and he know that. The man's smart enough. Business run this world. Bankers run this world. People with the big money, real estate, them people run this world. Not no real estate because you own up a 2 or 3 houses, in West Bubble. No, you talking about big business. Money is running this. Money is making people change. I just told you Jeff Bezos, right? He switched up his policies, right? Because it's a big business. People are in cahoots with other people. And what you say could be detrimental. This is common sense. When the chess, we gotta really pay attention to what's going on. If you're gonna invest your money, like I always tell you, a lot of these people are just here for the money. The stuff that you're buying into, you see a new book come up every week, you're going to believe that nonsense? The best books of all time are books from the past. And they got people buying these new books like magazines with nothing in it. And be honest with yourself after you read the book. Don't just read a book and close it and go on to the next book. That's not how you read a book. After that book is over, you're like, Sometimes you sign the back if it was a really, really good one. But if you ask yourself, what did you get out of it? If you bought into a book for real estate, you bought into a book how to be rich, did you get rich after? Well, don't you ever go back to that person and buy that book again, because you know who's getting rich, that person. Pay attention, y'all. They're trying to trick you. Sometimes the people you think that's trying to trick you be the same people that can make a move for their people, and they can help out your people too. Don't put everybody in the wrong place, because people are being deceived. Sometimes the guy that you think is the guy that's going to do harm for you is the guy that's going to help you. And the one that's doing harm to you is the guy sitting right behind you. Pay attention. Those in our culture, we are being schooled by the energy that if we don't come together, we can't sell a lick. You watch and see. No matter how many this is sell a million, this sell that. Those are all fake numbers. You know why? Because I know as a people, we can't communicate correctly. Yeah, you got some people saying, I'm doing this for my neighborhood, I'm doing that. Yeah, right. When it all boils down, you're doing it for yourself. Your own black people, we see you. We see you. We see you. We see you. You got your nice clothes on, yeah. You feeling good. You walking by the homeless people without even looking at them. You ready to go get your morning coffee, and you walking, and you the biggest thing on earth. And then that America karma can't start kicking in, and you're like, oh, why is that happening to me? Oh my God, yo, what's going on? It's the devil teasing you right there. That's the devil teasing you. The people that you're around, they ain't good for you. Open your eyes, man. Don't try to pretend to be smart. Just work on learning things. The term smart is that varies. Just be open to learning new things that can better you in your life and have a better understanding of the things that's next to come, and you'll be all right. You see these people, oh, let's jump into crypto, this and that. Yeah, these people ain't know nothing about no crypto. All they know is if they throwing their money, they know they ain't getting it back in cash. That's all they thinking about. You got to have more sustainable things. That's why I commend Jay-Z. If that's what I'm thinking, him having fans have shares of their artists, their favorite artists and things like that, well deserved. That is a dope idea. But when it comes to everything else with all of this nonsense, I don't believe in that stuff. Don't buy no books. Don't buy no courses. Don't do none of that stuff, y'all. Make sure you look up the information for yourself and you'll find somebody that's more closer to you that you can have a better understanding of it. Because sometimes for some reason, I can't really trust people working in the industry and when they tell things because they have a lot of biases. They was around these people, so they have a little bias to them. I'm more trusting the people, the good folks that was around them, the fans, the people that one girl, she was working in the back, security in the back, and she heard things going on. These are the people that I have more trust in. I can't trust in these people trying to make more money. They've been robbing you blind for the whole time. They feel like, if it's a great opportunity, this is a once in a lifetime thing, let's just get the money. If not, you ain't gonna help me. That's what they mindset. And then they go get the money and belittle their own folks and they say, well, come on, y'all, you should be doing the same thing too. What are you talking about? It's clown business, man. That's clown business, man. That's why I don't trust in them people. Trust when I tell you, you want to buy some fashion, you buy your fashion from a fashion designer. That's the person that's going to put passion into the clothes so you can get something you can hang in your closet longer than 2 weeks. You see these guys talking about how they design this and that. Meanwhile, they're putting the stuff on top of Nike. Listen up. Nike was already a company. Their family got that. Get off of them people's stuff and start making your own stuff. Stop biting other people's stuff and so people could start buying into your stuff. That's the reason why artists right now it's very in shambles, man. The trust that we have in these artists that the music is actually written by them or actually, that's their thoughts from their head. I don't know. I just go with the people that I know, go with the people that, for certain songs and things like that. But no, I gotta keep it real with my folks, man. I'm not gonna get up on here and tell y'all that it's all good. Everything ain't all good, man. It's looking really bad. It's looking really bad. How we used to take a look at other third world countries and things going on, like, man, that's how we look right now, man. So unorganized and a bunch of chaos and people going at their own people. How do you expect people to live an everyday good life living like that and don't know when the next meal is coming or if they have enough money that's going to sustain them for a lifetime? People don't know these things. So people have different intentions and different outlooks on life, and there's some people they're willing to hurt the next person to get it. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? There's a story, I know it sounds harsh, but it was a lady, she got eaten by her dogs. They were pugs because I guess she had passed away, but that's eventually what happened. The dog couldn't eat. It's not making the dog some monsters, no, but it's just the natural destruction of life, So, yeah, man, you gotta really be mindful of these people and what people's intentions are in these times. If you don't know that, you could find yourself supporting something that you didn't even know that was that serious, And it turns around, who gets hurt? It's only us we the ones that take the bulk of the pain. Because yeah, you the rapper and you put out the dope song and you made your views and streams, but the kid that was listening to your music, MC so and so, he got killed over it, and you just went on, you got on stage and the next day, who knows, maybe next year you'll be talking some fight the power, but this year you was on some drill and a whole bunch of people ended up passing because of their particular song. You think that karma ain't wreaking around you? You think that ain't gonna catch back up with you? Be careful and be mindful of the words that you use to influence other people, because if you influence other people to do bad, that is gonna make you have a shorter life. A lot of people live a longer life about the things they do and how sharp their mental is. It has nothing else to do with anything. Your mental can you could rejuvenate yourself and mentally make yourself healthy again. But people don't tell you that. All they want to tell you is, oh, take this, pop this in here. And then by the time that eat up your whole body, it get to your brain, you don't even know what next to think. You be so ready to go that it's almost like a unalive mission. People can't catch up with themselves because there's so many things going on, and I just try to stay focused on the things that are meaningful to the people that I have around me and to the things that I think about, because it's nasty out there, y'all. It's nasty out there. So if you're asking me, when I look at artists and rappers nowadays, do I have the trust in them that they are as nice as I think they are? No, anybody can rap. I told you that. When I was coming up at a young age, you know, my neighborhood considered me nice. There was no chat GPT. I didn't meet these people from not knowing how. No, you can tell the talent, you can point out who's talented. And then as the era went on, you just saw people just like taking from other people, and it just got diluted. I can't deal with that, man. It's like they're on their last leg. I'm gonna be honest with you. I know they're not penning those bars. I hear a lot of music that sounds like it's computer generated, and I'm not gonna lie to myself, it doesn't sound good. It sounds like somebody just take a song and it's remixes in my own words, and they just boop 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 boop, and they're just reading it off, and then they make the beat somewhat like the original beat and speed it up a little bit, and then boom, they got their little song going. But that doesn't necessarily make you a legitimate artist that's gonna be around. And if you don't have those type of intentions, maybe you should do something else, maybe along the lines of hip hop. But when it comes down to MCing and delivering the message, it's taken serious as just as like if you go into church and the pastor, whatever that MC is delivering to his audience, the audience is gonna hold that MC to that. If you don't take rap seriously, I could just tell you don't take your life seriously, man. You got to look at the guys that really set a mark in this hip hop thing and really go back and be like, you know what? I want to prove my trust to these people, because the more you have your fans fading away from you, I guarantee there should be a spike in R&B right now. I don't know why it's not, because with R&B, it's a little more feet to, you know, it's a little more, you have to have some kind of training to get your vocals and things up. I'm not sure yet. I'm pretty sure there probably is some AI machine that helps you sing besides auto tune and things like that. But with R&B, you're coming most likely the people that really, you know, go reach the top are the ones that had it in them to actually do. It's not like somebody can say, you know, tomorrow I'm just going to sing a song. No, you have to hit the notes right. You have to get it a little more in order. Whereas in rap, you can go to ChatGPT, take your favorite Drake song, take your favorite Kendrick song, give me the lyrics to this in my own version. I want to talk about this, and boom, there you go. You're a rapper in 24 hours. So be mindful of that and know and try to read people if they really want to do it, or it's just like, you know, an overnight type of situation. And that's the reason why I commend. You'd be surprised. Like, why you think like the Nicki Minaj, I always big her up. She don't come from that era of like sharing your ideas, and that's the reason why you see her so bossed up like that, because she can actually pen it. You know how the magic in, if I think of something and I say, you know what, I just went through a bad relationship, let me write this down and I'm gonna make a song out of it. That's the magic in hip hop, that you could actually write the song, put it out tomorrow, and that should have been the way. But nowadays it's more like, no, I just want to be the rapper. It doesn't, I don't know what I'm gonna say. I'm going to tell about my life, but you're so young and you haven't created a lifestyle or a substantial enough story for people to even identify who you are to relate to you. So now you get there and you're just making it, and you go down this run for the money, and you know it became to a point where entertainment looked like that was the only thing to do to get that much money, and it was so negatively pictured that it makes people say, "Ah, I'm just going to try it," but it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. So I commend the MCs that still use the pen and still can. That's the spirit of hip hop. No matter what, that's coming out of your being. That's coming out of what your feelings, how you feel, goes into what you write. If you get a machine to write for you, and just because it sounds good, don't make it translate with the people. That's the reason. My family, they're from Barbados and some from up here. And the reason why music in the West Indies and Jamaica and things like that are good, because it resonates with the people, because they actually write it. They don't have all this technology to do it. They got to sit there and drum it up and make it work for the people. So when you see them work up and things like that, all we do is look and take the sexual part of it and how our culture dances up on people. But you shouldn't just take that. You should start listening to the music, how it make people feel. It's uplifting. That's why we in the West Indies, we the ones that come up with vibes. Even though you hear everybody now saying, oh, the vibe, your vibe, this and that. That's a West Indian thing. The vibe of the people, your aura, in other words, how you treat people around you, how the music feel. Is it music feel so good that you're sipping a little bit of rum and you're winding up on your girlfriend and y'all making love and you go off, get married? These are things that came with our culture. But people took that and only took the sexual part, and they put any beat in there, even if they're talking about the devil and they're doing some other stuff. I don't even think the dudes in this era even dance with the females like that anymore. I think they just dance with the dudes and they just cheer it up as far as the song. But there's no more of like people shirts staining the walls in the back from winding up on your girl or whoever. There's no more of that, because that was more love making music, whether it was jump up music or whatever. It was more bringing people together. You got this music nowadays. When you're hearing the music, you gotta look around and see if somebody ice grilling you or if you got beef. That's not the type of structure that is gonna bring and lift up the culture. That's just the type of thing that's showing, oh, I'm badder than him, I'm tougher than him. Don't you know real females don't care how tough you are? They more care about what you have up in here, and if you're willing to go the length with them and the distance with them that you promised them you will love them for a lifetime. All the guys with all the toughness, they end up using that toughness against their family, going out there now hurting somebody, and now they're losing time with the family that they tried to structure. So now it becomes, now all that toughness, the real tough one was your lady. She's the one that held you down, held you in prison, held you down with the kid, and now all that toughness, you look like a fool. So don't be that guy, and don't be that artist. It's as simple as that. How you put yourself and how you present yourself out there is how people are going to take it. It doesn't matter if try to live in your being. Try to live up to the person that you want to be. Start it today. Don't know, not tomorrow. These people are painting pictures of us that ain't true. Don't think it's just celebrities. You can get painted a picture just from the neighborhood or the place you from or the way you look or the way you dress. So you got to be very careful in these times, because first they'll be getting those people out, and who you think is going to be next to get out. So you got to be very careful. I don't fix my mouth and talk about all these big figures like Donald Trump and all these. These are big figures in America. And people get on here and start running their mouth like their lips got roller skates and things on and sneakers on it, and they running their mouth about these people like they know him. And then when something happen now and they ain't get no help, or they taxing this thing get called upon, now they oh, I don't know why this happened. You running your mouth. You have to show some respect for people, even if you feel that person don't respect you. Where do you think you're living in? We all have this, even though it's not easy for every culture in America, we do have things that we can be proud for, and things that we can say, you know what, if this was in another place, I would have been stuck right now. So we gotta be thankful for that and still try to get the best we can as we go. But we have to find ourselves to trust in each other. If we don't have no trust in each other, we can't get nowhere as the people. I don't care how many people is selling what in what neighborhood. If Brooklyn can't go with Queens, Queens can't go with the Bronx, and Staten Island can bust it down with Long Island, then it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. It ain't. It don't matter if the one guy down your block you feel that's rich to you. Say somebody's rich, they got what, $10 million I would consider rich out here. Say they got $10 million, you rich. You're the only one rich there. What does that say for yourself? What does that say for you? What are you doing in here? It's either you helping here or you hurting. And that's the energy that's out today. So, don't follow behind these people with these fake, they doing this and doing that for their community. Yeah, of course you're doing this, but the type of hurt that you put in your music, that you didn't even match the level of that. The people that died just listening to your music and listening to the things you said to do, it doesn't equal up to 100 turkeys you can give in your hood. It doesn't equal it. That's not gonna balance out your blessings. It's not. You're taking money, using it the wrong way, and then you're going back to the money to try to clean up yourself. Does that sound like you're gonna have some kind of change in your life? No, it just sounds like you more covering up the type of person you really are. Like, let's get serious now, man. Let's stop with all the buffoonery, all the foolishness, people acting like other people, acting like they this, acting like you that. Why don't you just live like you smart? Live like you a good person. Stop being a criminal. Stop taking on criminal intentions to get whatever you gotta get. Because when they lock your ass up, nobody's gonna care about you. And so don't blackety black then, because it's hard for us to trust our own people, because look what we're doing to each other. Don't tell me why I don't talk about no. I'm talking about my people. I can talk to my people. And nobody on this social media could tell me I can't. And that's how I feel, and that's how I'm giving it up. And I could also talk about other cultures, because there's a lot we can use from it. Like these people they talking about down on somebody culture. Meanwhile, they eating the food from them people culture, and they look like a fool. It's just like saying you stand for your community, and then you with all of these funny logos on, but people don't even want you wearing the clothes, and you think you standing up. You ain't no king. You a fool. You look like a fool to the kings. Come on now. We ain't going for that. And I see it all the time. No. Shout out to MC Shan though. That brother is an intelligent brother, man. Love MC Shan. Sometimes these are the OGs people should really have went to. You wanna build and chop it up. You gotta really check people out and see what they really into, where their minds at this point. Okay? It's not about who has the biggest house or who has the most money to their ear. It's not about that. I had something else for you guys too. Hold on. Like people out here, they think, they feel like they got enough money where their kids is gonna be all right. They're gonna go off to college. Nothing ain't gonna happen. Let me tell you something. The way life works, ain't everybody gonna make it over the fence. Yeah, everybody, they all running, but ain't everybody gonna make it over that fence. I'm telling you, somebody gonna fall back, and it could be your family. Just because they might be a little laxy-daisy, they have to work for it as much, and you got them out there, they looking good, they got what going on, and they just don't make it over that fence, and they be the one snatched. That's how life works. It's not going to be the kid that came from a harsh environment and then made it all the way up there. You think he going to blow it but while he's up there? No, he going to realize there ain't no way I'm going back. But the kid that never had nothing to go back to because what's back there is just as shiny as what's up there. Oh my goodness. When they take that low, it's different. It get different. They could lose their mind in a snap of a finger. They could lose their mind in their first real relationship. Do you know what having it all does to people when they're trying to find something else and don't know what's worth it? Do you know what that is? That's a scary life. You know what having it all is, and you can't strive for something. You're trying to strive for something, but you can buy into it and get into it. Everything you do, it's more of a phone call instead of any hard work. Do you know what that does to you as a human? It leaves you empty inside. All that fulfillment that people get from striving and earning something, you don't have that. Everything that's given to you, you try to find this fake sense of value in it, and you just can't find it. So how do you think that you're going to treat yourself? You're going to feel like if something going wrong with you, your health, you got to pay for it, right? Wrong. Absolutely wrong. This is the first thing that's the healer. This is your first healer. This being strong can block you from all that other stuff. Now, if you have to take medicines or something should happen to you, God forbid, the stronger you have this, the less that medicine would affect this. You understand? A person that's doing that for the first time might not lose their mind thinking that, something's going wrong with them. But a person that has a strong this just knows to relate, and it's okay. It's the process. Everything is a process. I just got to get through it. Don't you know some people could take drugs like mushrooms and things like that where they hallucinate and just come back like a regular person, but let the wrong-minded person take that mushroom and they never come back again. Their mind's all the way out there. You would think that they have something like Wendy Williams or one of these people that can, seem to get it together through a disease. But it don't be that way. It be that drug that they took that they never seem to snap back. They had something in that drug. That's how life works. See, they're going to meet you where you feel most comfortable at. That's how the devil play. The devil's not going to play where you can see the horns and you're like, oh, that's the devil coming. I better prepare. No, the devil's going to meet you where you're most comfortable at. When you're numb, you're in the moment, you're not paying attention to what's going on. And he show right up and give you the offer to see if you take it. That's how he gets you. Don't be fooled by these people, man, because they have those type of intentions. I love you guys. I got a new video dropping. I'm going to drop it at 10 o'clock tonight for you guys. And it means a lot to me because it has something to do with me, my family, And you know, I'm not gonna blow it up, but it's dope. I feel like you guys are gonna like it. If you're tuning in right now, I do drop these culture-driven videos, and the latest one I have out now are Mexicans and what is it? It's Mexicans and Central Americans. I don't want to get it wrong because people they don't play about their culture, boy. Let me tell you. I have a this one was featuring Cardi B because people was calling Cardi B Mexican. She's not Mexican. She's Dominican mixed with Trinidadian. My goodness. And people, it's sometimes it's not your face or how you look or your complexion that says who you are. And people are so confused by that. Like there's so many different types of black people, West Indian people. There's so many. Yo, come on. Not every Bayesian. You can only us as Bayesians could probably look over and say, "Oh, that person's from Barbados," or we can tell because that's within our culture. But from the outside looking in, you know, everybody has their own. Don't tell people who they are. Let people tell you who they are, and then it's up to you to believe in them, okay? Love you guys. Stay tuned. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe, like it up. Show me a little love. It's not easy out here with all this positive energy. I'm trying to do it a little bit different. There's only a few people really trying to push forward. You know, some good word to you guys to uplift you. So just give me some likes on this one and some shares and show people that there's somebody out here that doing it a little bit different. I don't always get the biggest of views, but I really appreciate every view that I do get because when I started, I didn't have any views. It felt like sometimes I was just talking to myself, but I knew one day you guys would show up and you guys would meet me along the way. So I love you guys. Make sure you go get some good food today. Enjoy yourself. Wear a new color. Do something different. Try to stick with your people. Find the people that love you and not the people that just want to do all this yibbity yapping behind your back. All right? So y'all stay tuned for tonight, and appreciate all my peoples, man. All my peoples out there in the world. Love y'all, and y'all already know. Till next time, it's your boy Mickey Fenty, aka Mickey Made It. If you're new to this channel, you know what to do to this channel. Subscribe right now.